Assalamu alaikum, I'm Javed Khan Jadoon with the English edition of the forum. Today we are going to discuss two important topics. One is the latest development is Israel attacked Hamas leadership in Qatar. Qatar, which is a close ally of the United States of America and was spearheading the efforts to broker a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. It is unprecedented that a neutral country like Qatar, which has very close military ties with the United States as well. Qatar also hosts probably the largest military airbase in its soil, the American airbase, and is seen as a country which is considered a neutral country in the Middle East. Why this attack took place, we will be talking about that, and what would be the ramifications and repercussions for the region at large, whether the Arab response is going to come, and whether the Arab countries now do realize that today, if it is Qatar, tomorrow it could be any other Arab country. The Arab countries with trillions of dollars of advanced weapon systems at their disposal, it is incumbent upon them that they take action and take action now. Otherwise, Israel has become a regional hegemon and doesn't care for international conventions, international obligations, United Nations Charter, or any other consideration. Israel has attacked many Arab countries. It attacked Syria, launched ground offensive, launched the air offensive, attacked Hezbollah in Iran, attacked Iran itself, mainland Iran, killed the Hamas leader in Iran in flagrant violation of international laws and conventions, and is still attacking Houthis in Yemen as well. Now Qatar has been attacked. Which country is going to be the next country which Israel is going to target? Of course, this escalation is not going to stop here. The second topic we'll be talking about President Xi's new world order, but before that, let us talk about the latest developments in the Middle East. Dr. Salma, as I pointed out, Qatar is considered as a neutral country. Qatar was spearheading the efforts to broker peace between Israel and Hamas as well, and was trying its level best to get the hostages released as well. And Qatar is a very, very close ally of the United States of America. Very interesting statement coming from President Trump. But of course, what Prime Minister Netanyahu said and the country's defense minister said, the statement says that they ordered the attack on Qatari soil in the light of an operational opportunity. So such opportunities could take place anywhere in any Middle Eastern country. And very surprising response from President Trump that he didn't know. The information came late, so he couldn't intervene and stop the attack. So once again, plausible deniability.
Thank you so much, Jadun Saab. This is actually a very interesting development, but there are a few previous precedences that can be very well cited when we look at this precision strike that took place on Qatar's soil. Very fascinatingly, the narrative that is built around such strikes is that we haven't attacked the country, the host country, but we have attacked the persons of interest. And this is something, if you see, happened in the South Asian war book as well, where India planned targeting its persons of interest rather than
same language,
the country.
surgical precision strikes.
So primarily, these countries which are belligerent and they're extremely blatant in their belligerency, they have picked up this thing, this mantra from the Israelis. The Israelis have invented this precision surgical strike strategy, and their minions such as India is also following these things. Now, the repercussions for Qatar, we also know that Qatar was the country that also came under fire during the Israel-Iran war as well in June. So it is not the first time that Qatar has faced such an.
Well, that was the American airbase which was
That was the American airbase. So that was very targeted. Yet the fact is that it was Qatar's soil. Now, does the Americans know about it? It's a classic case of playing good cop, bad cop. The US very well knew. Today in the Daily Dawn, one of the key cartoonists has given a very fascinating synopsis or a meme of what has happened, that Uncle Sam is holding two telephone cradles in his hand, and one says Israel, one says Qatar, and they're saying they're coming, and they're saying fire. So primarily the US knew about it. Plausible deniability kind of makes them the good people in the picture who are trying to broker peace, who are trying to win the Nobel Prize, who are trying to stay on the right side of the human rights and moralistic discourse. But the very fact is that the mid-air refueling, the amount of gadgetry the US has on its military base, and all of those things cannot at all make US a
let's
naive
have Air
picture.
Marshal
Absolutely, and for
Amamusu's
that.
point of view. Air Marshal Amamusu, what is important to understand is that Qatar is a neutral country, was leading the efforts to broker peace between Hamas, and was seen as a country which was doing the sensible things. Now, you believe that Israelis didn't consult the American authorities as far as President Trump is concerned. His plausible deniability has come about. But at different tiers, given your military background, the CENTCOM and the Pentagon, how it is possible that the Americans have the largest air base in Qatar, and without their knowledge, the fighter planes which flew from Israel and they participated in the attack or strike on the Qatari soil. Is it a plausible deniability which is further complicating U.S. role in the Middle East and exposing the American influence in Middle East and giving an impression that America is definitely in collusion with Israel while giving a green signal to attack the Hamas leadership in Qatar?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Javed Sab. Actually, I personally think that this attack is something very unprecedented. It was not only a military action, but it reflects something much broader than that.
Yes.
And that is where we have to be very cautious and conscious of what all is happening and the type of impunity Israel has to target anyone, anytime, and then, take a legal cover. The main issue is that they definitely have a strong backing of United States. And that is where, the buck stops actually. And that is where they are always given a sort of free hand in the United Nations also, and they are not put under any severe sanctions. But the important thing, out of this particular attack, as you have mentioned, is that Qatar, being a very strong ally, and very recently they have concluded few military deals with the United States, which were of huge cost and billions of dollars. And moreover, their complete military equipment is United States and Western origin. And if you see their defense system, especially the air defense missiles, they cover a range of more than 1,000 kilometers.
I believe they have
and they are layered. They are, from Norway, from France, from United States, and they are all networked under one, data link and controlled by a single command and control center.
Hey, Marshal, why they weren't able to intercept the incoming
So that is
fighter
where
planes?
I am actually coming. That not only they, there were 4 countries in between, a distance of 1,800 kilometers,
Yes.
which include Egypt, which include Jordan, which include Iraq, as well as Saudi Arabia. And then it comes to Qatar itself, because they have an envelope of air defense system which covers almost half of Saudi
And
Arabia.
Qatar is not Lebanon.
Of course,
Yes.
they have
As
one
you
of the
pointed
most,
out, they have got all the advanced and state-of-the-art weapon systems
they
available
have
to
one of the
them.
most advanced, not only the air defense missile system, which is layered and as strong as you can say the Iron Dome of Israel, but they also have a very strong air force. They have state-of-art F-15s, and they have the Rafales. So they have few of the best, fighters also.
Available in the
But-
market.
Yeah, but the fact, that is what I am saying, that it was not only a military action, it was a sort of symbolic, and it was a coordinated sort of
And a message
action.
for the entire Middle Eastern region, all the
course.
important countries, including Saudi Arabia.
Yes, and that is where that they are having a sort of handshake with Israel for whatever actions they are being done. They are being facilitated. Not only that they have a sort of support from America, but the complete Middle East belt is supporting all the actions being done by the Israel, whereas they are negating or they are targeting all those missiles or all those military actions which are being done against Israel as well. So it's a two-way sort of thing, which is very dangerous. So the point is this, that not only, I mean, a country, an impartial country like Israel, the Qatar, which has got a very strong United States base over there, the CENTCOM headquarter over there, with all, I would say American equipment, which is with them, and of course for future as well. But what we see is that, the realization which should have been there after, attack on Syria, attack on Yemen, attack on Hezbollah in Lebanon, and of course finally in Iran, they still feel that after Qatar, the Muslim countries are going to be safer.
But let me quote very interesting statement, what you're pointing out, coming from the Prime Minister of Qatar, Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani. He says, we have reached a decisive moment where there must be a response from the entire region to such barbaric action. So he is calling for a collective response. You believe that Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, they will come in aid of Qatar, and there would be any collective response to it. Though the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia has told the Qatari Prime Minister that all our resources are at your disposal. Is it just a statement and it will be kind of a whitewash, and then the life would get back to normalcy in Middle East?
These statements also came after they were targeted in the Iran and Israel war also, if you remember. So these statements are basically, from my side, it's an eyewash. We have to go into the history, and we see that what are the bases of these countries, which are now in the form of United Arab Emirates, even Saudi Arabia and Qatar, all these which are economic giants also of that region. But how much of investment they have in UK, how much of investment they have in United States, and how much of future guarantor United States had been for their security also. So, I mean, we cannot take it in isolation that, Qatar ruler Mohammed Thani, he gives this statement. It is a complete, investment of US and Israel for the last almost 4 to 5 decades, that they have been able to come to this point where they can target any Muslim country, any Middle Eastern country with impunity, and simultaneously. I mean, they were targeting Qatar, they were targeting at the same time Houthis in Yemen, and they were also targeting the flotilla,
Syria,
which is coming for help and aid for
with the drone strike.
For the Gaza. So the drone strikes, they were from Israel side. So I mean, all this cannot happen till the time the airspace is friendly for you, and that airspace is of Egypt, Jordan, Saudi, UAE, Iraq. All these objects which are flying in the air are going through this particular airspace. And the airspace is, let me tell you, is very heavily defended. But still, it's giving that friendly, movement to the Israel.
Or rather, no response at all.
And response against those who are targeting
exactly.
Israel.
Dr. Sama, many countries in the Middle East condemned this attack, Israeli attack on Qatar, including Egypt, Jordan, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. Of course, Macron and Keir Starmer also condemned it. Now, the question arises that will the Arab countries move beyond condemnation, and this time around, because Iran was a different case scenario. Iran wasn't part of the Arab fraternity or the Arab League as well. So now the question is, these important countries like UAE and Saudi Arabia, do they realize that if today it is Qatar, which I pointed out is the neutral country spearheading the peace efforts and a very close ally like them of the United States of America. So if US couldn't stop this attack against Qatar, why would US stop any future attack against Saudi Arabia and UAE? Do they realize that?
I hope they realize that, and I think they very well realize that, and that is why they're acting very compliant to anything that Israelis or the US are doing, which is very unfortunate. Technically, by staying quiet, by staying low, they are enabling Israel, and they are friends of Israel in this regard, in demolishing anything that was known as Gaza or then Palestine. For Jordan, for many neighboring countries of Israel, it's a fight for their survival. And they have made it very clear. And as Air Marshal Amir has also pointed out, the way this entire episode has unfolded, you cannot but think that all of these actors are very much involved and they were very much aware of what is unfolding. What they don't want to do is, what they don't want to mess up with is to have another Egypt moment where they cannot fight the united US as well as Israeli might or fury. And Israel is so blatant that it can do anything anywhere. But Qatar has
But Dr.
cushioned that
Salma,
impact.
Qatari example cannot be equated with Iran because Iran was
No,
entirely
I'm not
different.
talking about Iran. But you see, the fact is that if we keep on singling out various countries by saying, okay, I totally get the logic of what you are saying, and that is so absolutely accurate and correct. And that is what the insane logic to how these countries responded to Iran conflict has been. But what they need to realize is that if they keep on saying that, okay, this country was not good enough, that was not part of our Arab League, so let them suffer, they have done this and they have done that, which are very weak justifications, tomorrow it's going to be them. And let's see what has happened to Qatar, God forbid. I mean, despite the fact that it is a precision strike, it has impacted Qatar's absolute sovereignty. And Qatar being a neutral actor, Qatar being a textbook role model country in this regard, which was trying to mediate. Primarily the message that has gone out is that Israel does not want mediation. Israel wants to prolong the conflict. Israel wants to prolong the conflict to an extent where they want that the results should be absolutely in its favor. And the US is actually playing along. And the other countries, by staying quiet, by saying that, oh, okay, it was a precision strike on Qatar, the rest of the country wasn't affected, it was just one building, no other, so we are safe. No, tomorrow they will also fall victim to precisely this thing. And this flawed logic is not good enough. They should have put together their hands. They should have protected the Palestinians. 2 years too late. Now we see another chapter unfolding that is
That's a very important
escalation
point.
is spreading.
They saw the kind of a
horizontally.
genocide and
Absolutely.
the massacre of the Palestinians.
Absolutely.
They just kept
So
mum
long
and
as
quiet.
I'm safe,
So ultimately, it's
let the other person burn.
coming to their doors as well.
Absolutely.
Marshal Amir, do you see any kind of a military reaction on part of Qatar on its own, or with the help of Saudi Arabia and UAE, or will there be only diplomatic condemnation and they would like to move beyond that?
Well, I personally think that there might be a sort of superficial, cosmetic sort of, meeting of the OIC in near future. But I really don't see any sort of military action by any of the countries which we have already mentioned, and including Qatar as well, because the stakes are very high. We cannot, as I mentioned, take this military action and the reaction and the response in isolation. There are many strings attached to that, and economic factor and the military security factors. They are two of the most important factors in which you can say that United States is the main guarantor for all these countries, including Syria, UAE, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, as well as Iraq and Egypt, and of course Jordan. So all these countries are, very much dependent upon the United States, and the rulers in all these countries, most of the sheikhs, they have a lot of investment in United States and UK. So, I mean, it will be really not what I don't foresee in any future, near future at least, any sort of action by any of these countries. Rather, they will remain complicit and they will remain, a partner in crime. And they will keep helping as well as abetting Israel in any sorts of military action with impunity against any of the Muslim countries. But what I foresee is that today it was Doha, tomorrow it can be Cairo, it can be Riyadh, it can be Islamabad.
Absolutely. Dr. Salma, if there's no military reaction on part of Qatar on its own, or the collective Arab response, the flip side is that the entire Arab world would be accepting Israel as a hegemon. Okay, there's a hegemon, we accept it, and they can strike wherever they want to strike, would like to strike. So the entire paradigm in the Middle East would change, as Air Marshal Amir Masood was pointing out, that they could strike any country in the Arab world, even the most influential Arab countries like Saudi Arabia. So it is going to be a game changer. If there's no attack, no retaliation, no military reaction from Qatar, then that means that the entire Middle Eastern paradigm has shifted and Israel is the only hegemon in the region and the Arab world has accepted. Would that be the case?
I absolutely agree with your point as well as Marshal Amir's point. So Qatar has a host of kinetic as well as non-kinetic options to exercise in this regard. One, scenario one, where they go all out for confrontation and they have a military engagement, which means that the entire Arab world, one way or another, would be pulled into into a escalation and an armed conflict. Are the other Arab countries willing to stand with Qatar? I don't think so. Even if they, as you had previously talked about, they show cosmetic kind of affinity as well as brotherhood with Qatar or any of the countries which has been aggressed upon, when it comes to facing the Israel wrath, they are not willing to do that. And the fact that you say that they would be accepting Israel as a hegemon, I think they have already accepted Israel as a hegemon. They are very much willing to look the other way whenever Israel is carrying out any any aggressions, any human rights violation, and they don't do anything about it. If they hadn't accepted Israel's superior role and power in the Middle East, these 2 years would not have claimed such precious lives, which includes small, precious children. Having said that, what other option Qatar can do? Would it fight alone? It can. But does Qatar have the same momentum as Iran
they've got
has?
all kinds of weaponry
Yes, they
at
do.
their disposal.
But do they have that type of
state-of-the-art fighter
you see,
planes?
The point is, despite the fact that it's been Qatar's sovereignty's violation, Israel and America can very much dissuade Qatar by saying that, look, we never attacked you. We attacked the Hamas leadership.
That's a very naive argument.
That's a very naive argument. But the fact is that this is how they're going to negotiate with Qatar, and they're going to compensate them, and then they're going to present any type of justifications.
Interestingly, the Reuters news agency has quoted let me quote, the Israeli ambassador to the United States of America saying that if Israel failed to kill Hamas leadership in Qatar, it would succeed next time, raising more concerns.
Exactly.
So that means it's not going to stop here.
And they have left it open-ended, which means that Hamas leadership anywhere in the world would be targeted.
Anyway,
exactly.
It's not just Qatar. Could be any other Arab country
and this is a person sitting on the UN
Hmm.
floor saying what they have to say. So one can understand the type of respect Israel as well as the US has for the rule of law, for human rights violation, sovereignty, everything put together. The second option Qatar would have are non-kinetic responses, not cooperating, not brokering the peace. And this is precisely what Israel wants. That Qatar should walk out of the peace negotiations.
That's their
and
objective.
They bombard, and then they have a justification.
Now it is being said that most probably Egypt is going to take over, and Egypt
so I think the
would
US
be holding
is going to play an extra nice role in making Qatar a happy actor and making them remain part of the story. And whatever limping type of a peace process that is going to come out of it, whether in Qatar or in Egypt, it will work that way.
Qatar getting out of this peace prospect will be more detrimental to the Gaza cause or the cause of Palestine, because Egypt has a little bit more bias as compared to Qatar.
Qatar. True that. Because Qatar also hosted the entire leadership as well.
They have actually also indirectly targeted the peace process in Qatar.
We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be discussing President Xi's new world order in his address in Tianjin after Tianjin summit in Beijing when the military parade took place. Stay with us.